As the screen came to life, I greeted everyone with a warm welcome, thrilled to share today's adventure. I was on a mission to build a house unlike any other, a house adorned with leaves. Leaves, in their lush beauty, promised to make this house truly spectacular. With excitement bubbling within me, I began laying down a sturdy wooden foundation, the first step in bringing my vision to life. Carefully, I started placing leaf blocks around the foundation, meticulously leaving spaces for windows and a door, envisioning how the light would filter through, creating a cozy, inviting space. As the structure began to take shape, I couldn't help but admire the progress. This is already looking good, a sense of pride swelling in my heart. I've always believed that leaf blocks are among the most beautiful in all of Minecraft. Their vibrant green hues bring a piece of the forest into our homes, making them feel alive. However, just as I was getting into the groove of things, I ran into an unexpected obstacle. I ran out of leaves. Unperturbed, I made my way to a large chest nearby, hopeful that it would yield more of the precious blocks I needed to complete my project. But to my dismay, the chest was empty, not a single leaf block in sight. Not one to give up easily, I embarked on a quest throughout the village, checking every house in search of leaves. My determination was unwavering, but the supplies I sought remained elusive. As I entered the door of one of the houses, hoping against hope to find what I needed, I was abruptly met by a cactus turtle. The creature, unexpected and formidable, launched itself at me. With swift moves, I managed to defeat the cactus turtle, a small victory in the grand scheme of my quest. Yet, despite my efforts, my search through the houses proved fruitless. There were no leaves to be found anywhere. This unexpected turn of events left me pondering, questioning the very essence of my project. The absence of leaves, the very heart of my vision, posed a challenge I hadn't anticipated. Determined to complete my leafy abode, I decided to venture out in search of leaves, my steps filled with hope. As I wandered through the landscape, a chilling realization dawned upon me. Every tree I encountered was barren, devoid of leaves, standing as a silent testament to some unspeakable demise. Puzzled and intrigued, I examined these skeletal trees closely, wondering how such a calamity could have befallen them. Not a single leaf graced their branches. It was as if the very essence of life had been stripped away, leaving behind nothing but echoes of verdant days gone by. With each tree I scrutinized, leaping from one to the next, my confusion only deepened. Clues were as absent as the leaves themselves, and the forest stood as a graveyard of once flourishing life. Yet it was a reminder of the unpredictable nature of adventure in Minecraft, a world where every day brings a new story, a new challenge, and a new opportunity to create something wonderful. As I stood there, in the quiet aftermath of my search, I realized that sometimes the beauty of creation lies not in the materials we use, but in the journey we undertake to bring our visions to life. Amidst this desolation, my eyes caught sight of an anomaly in the distance, a grand mansion constructed entirely of leaves. Could that be where all the leaves have gone? My curiosity piqued by the sight of such an incongruous structure amidst the lifeless trees. The mansion, a verdant oasis in a desert of death, beckoned to me. With a sense of urgency, I began my approach, swimming across a lake that lay in my path, scaling a hill that rose like a sentinel before me. Anticipating the unknown dangers that might lurk within that leafy fortress, I drew my sword, its blade a sliver of silver in the dim light. As I neared the mansion, its entirety became visible to me, a testament to an impossible architecture of leaves. Even the surrounding trees were fashioned from leaves, a surreal landscape that defied all logic. The sight filled me with trepidation, the mansion's eerie beauty masking the mysteries that lay within. With my heart pounding, I hesitated, the thought of venturing inside to uncover its secrets sending shivers down my spine. In an effort to prepare for whatever lay ahead, I turned my attention to the task at hand, mining wood from the lifeless trees around me. With each swing of my axe, the wood yielded to my efforts. This mysterious mansion, crafted from the very essence of what I sought, stood as both a beacon and a warning. As I steeled myself to step inside, I couldn't help but wonder what stories lay hidden within its verdant corridors. And before long, I had collected 18 pieces of wood. Yet, as I made my way back towards the entrance of the mansion, a nagging sense of unpreparedness urged me to gather more. Transforming the wood into planks, I fortified my inventory, readying myself for the unknown challenges that awaited within the mansion's leafy walls. Using the wood planks I had carefully crafted, I began my ascent to the roof of the mansion. The climb was arduous, but determination fueled my every step. Upon reaching the top, a sight unfolded before me that was both intriguing and disheartening. Glowstones dotted the expanse. Eager to uncover the secrets of the mansion, I made my way into one of the roof attics, where the chests awaited, only to find emptiness staring back at me. Disappointment washed over me, but it was quickly replaced by a surge of excitement as I opened another chest. Without hesitation, I took the diamond sword and the axe, their weight a comforting presence in my hands. With new tools in hand, I descended the stairs to the floor below, where a dark and eerie hallway stretched out before me. The silence was oppressive, the air thick with anticipation. As I peered down the hall towards the garden, my eyes caught movement. A shadow darting, something crawling with unsettling speed. I constructed a small 3-block bridge. As I watched from my precarious perch, the garden's shadows coalesced into a form both intriguing and terrifying, a monster that seemed to crawl with alarming speed, its body composed of what looked like leaves, but the creature was fast, faster than anything I'd encountered before. It began its pursuit, crawling towards me with a speed that blurred the line between nightmare and reality. The battle that ensued was frantic and fierce. The creature, with its leafy form, darted around with such speed that landing a hit felt like chasing whispers in the wind. After what felt like an eternity, I landed the final blow. The creature fell, disintegrating into a pile of leaves and, to my surprise, a monster spawner. Breathing heavily from the exertion, I picked up the spawner and began to piece together the mystery. It seemed that this creature had been consuming the leaves, explaining the barren trees that haunted the landscape. My thoughts were interrupted by a sudden attack. Another of these leafy creatures had found me, launching into an assault with the same ferocious speed as the first, its form collapsing into a heap of leaves. My eyes then caught sight of the source of my troubles, a monster spawner hidden within the mansion, birthing these leafy creatures into existence. Determination set in, and with quick thinking, I approached the spawner. Using the tools at my disposal, I constructed a small hole around it, effectively neutralizing the threat. No longer would these creatures spawn and wreak havoc upon the land. Standing before the now harmless spawner, I turned to the screen, a sense of accomplishment washing over me. "This might be it," I announced. "They won't spawn anymore. We're done with this mystery." Clutching 2 stacks of leaves, the spoils of my victory against the leafy foes, I began my journey back to the base. My spirits were high, the weight of the leaves in my hand a tangible reminder of the ordeal I had overcome. The excitement to complete the leaf base surged within me, driving my steps forward with renewed purpose. The mansion, with its leafy exterior and the creatures it harbored, was more than just a structure. It was a nexus of ecological imbalance, a puzzle that I had unwittingly stepped into. The adventure that had started with a simple quest for leaves had transformed into a journey of discovery and danger, a journey that delved deep into the heart of the mansion's mysteries. Upon my return, I wasted no time in placing the remaining leaf blocks for the ceiling, the final touches to a project that had become so much more than a simple construction task. As I placed the last of the blocks, a sense of pride filled me. With the leaf base finished, I stepped outside, eager to see the world beyond the confines of my creation. My journey took me to the other side of the village, a path tread with anticipation of what I might find. And there, To my delight, the trees had begun to sprout leaves once more, a sign that balance had been restored to the world. Thank you all.
So this is the story of how I realized something weird was going on in my Minecraft world. It all started when I decided that I would prepare for nightfall. In your Minecraft world, you always decide that whilst it is going to be nighttime, unless you're going to be out crazy, deleting mobs and taking them from the face of the earth, you want to make sure that you're prepared for bed, because there could be a countless number of dangerous things that could very well endanger you. So you always want to make sure that you're safe. Now, this was a pretty standard night for me. I had all the armor, I had a few golden apples as I'd just come back for a recent adventure, but I decided that this village would be the one where I would stay. And of course, it was a pretty cool village. Now, at first, there wasn't anything really strange. I mean, I was someone who was always looking for loot and running around trying to see exactly what I could find. Now, at first, it was, like I said, pretty boring. I mean, there was nothing standard there, but I needed a place to sleep as I was going onto my travels. Now, this is the problem, okay? I needed a place to sleep. However, I tried to do that several times in this world, and there was something strange about each time. You see, as I was deciding that I was going to ensure all my materials were in the correct chest, and as I was deciding that yes, I'm going to have a really good night, I was sure that something was wrong. You see, the first time I decided to get into bed, it wouldn't actually allow me to sleep. In fact, it made me jump straight out of bed, and I thought, okay, my first task now is to ensure that I kill all mobs nearby. If you've ever tried to sleep in Minecraft, you'll know that mobs being nearby is the #1 reason that you can't sleep. So once I realized that this was most likely the problem to my solution, I knew that this solution was likely going to work. And the problem was that out of the corner of my eye, I could see that the moon wasn't moving downwards. It was very, very strange and very, very uncanny. This was something out of a horror movie. Why on earth was it stuck at nighttime? But I thought, you know what, maybe it was just stuck at nighttime because there were mobs around. Let me see if I could kill the zombies, and sure enough, there were a ton of zombies near my house. And I thought, okay, all I have to do is eat a golden apple, and sure enough, I would be fine. So I spent the next 30 seconds or so clearing out this giant wave and giant horde of zombies that somehow managed to find their way right next to the village. It was hard, but in the end, I managed with every swing to get them gone. But here's the problem. This wasn't where things stopped. So as I was deciding to go back to my house, I thought, you know what, it's going to be great. I'm going to go ahead and sleep. But here's the problem. When I tried to sleep, it didn't actually work. It made me jump out of the bed again. So I decided that, you know what, I need to seek some more information. Villagers are the only people who know exactly what's going on. Let me see if I can figure out exactly what's going on by asking them. Now, I didn't really know who to speak to at first because this was a very, very strange village, and it didn't really make any sense as to why it was here anyways. However, the first villager said something rather interesting. He said the entire world is under the curse of something, and I wasn't sure what that kind of curse was, but I needed to talk to him more. He said darkness is always here in this world, and that we hadn't slept for years. This was something that was rather strange. They hadn't slept in years, and years are something that is a very long time. So how are these villagers surviving? What on earth were they doing? I simply had no idea, but I wasn't about to leave this mystery unsolved. Next, it was time for another task. I thought, you know what, if these villagers hadn't slept in such a long time, potentially it could just be that the area nearby was too dark. So I thought that, you know what, let me add some torches nearby. Villagers usually are pretty cool, but oftentimes they add torches in places that they actually shouldn't be. You see, villagers aren't particularly the best builders by any means, but that doesn't mean I wasn't going to help them with this large problem that they had. So I decided that let me go ahead and place torches in every single place near the village, and I'm sure maybe, just maybe, we might come to some kind of solution on this problem. But as you're all about to see, I couldn't have been more mistaken. The torches weren't the actual problem. There was something much more sinister going on that I was about to uncover. Even after I went to bed once again, I thought I was going to get up, but as I got up expecting the sunrise, I was greeted once again by a very, very disastrous night sky. So I thought, okay, this is it. I need to get to the bottom of this problem right now. And how on earth am I going to do that? By other than investigating the moon. So the moon is of course the icon for which the days and the nights cycle. But if I could look more closely at the moon, then maybe, just maybe, I could figure out exactly what was going on. So I went over to look at the moon to the closest point. since the moon is not really a fixed point, but rather a texture in a seamless world. I started to look at the world, and sure enough, the moon was there, stagnant in place, not moving at all, just as if it was suspended in time. A very, very strange thing, but somehow I knew I was going to get to the bottom of this solution. Then it came to me. I had an idea. Of course, talk to the old man who knew absolutely everything in this Minecraft world. Maybe I could figure out exactly what was going on if I spoke to someone that had been here longer than I have. And he said that rumor has it that something in the cave could save us. Now, I wasn't actually sure what he was talking about, but I'm guessing he wanted to talk to the cave, or maybe perhaps explore the cave. Now, I knew that the cave was likely nearby, but I had no idea what that even meant. And strangely enough, there was an end portal nearby. And that meant that we should go to the end. So I thought, you know what, since this old man is suggesting that we go to the caves of the end, potentially there could be something in the chest. So I opened up the chest, and sure enough, it was stacked to the brim with eyes of Ender. Now I just simply placed these eyes of Ender one by one while listening to the crazy sounds of the end, and sure enough, with a flash in the pan, the end lit up. It was actually pretty scary, but I knew I had to go there if I wanted to. Of course, I knew that this was the only solution to potentially saving the world, so I decided to give it a shot. Maybe this was going to save the world, maybe it wasn't, but either way, I was destined to go ahead and have a look, and just like that, we went into the end. Now, the end was quite a scary place. You see, if you die in the end, all your items, you lose them. Now, of course, this is true for normal worlds, but it is very hard to get back to the end in any normal state. Now, what I had to do was I defeat this crazy creature. It was called the night creature. It was actually quite strange because I'd never seen anything like it before. However, it was a very interesting experience. The golden apples barely held me back and barely held me afloat. This was a creature that was in the end by itself. Now, crazily enough, what I actually found out about this creature was that something strange was going on. This creature didn't make any sense at all. How did this creature exist in the end without the Ender Dragon? I'm guessing that it had somehow killed the Ender Dragon, killed all the Endermen, and made this place a home for itself. This was by far the strangest thing I'd ever seen, so I didn't know what to go on. This was a very, very strange creature. It had made the end its home, one of the harshest environments in all of Minecraft, but luckily I managed to defeat it, and then it dropped a strange item. It actually dropped a beacon, and the reason I was so glad is because it meant that I had the solution. Clearly defeating this creature in the end meant that I could return home with the beacon and potentially use it to somehow ward off the creature. Now, I decided to place the beacon in the village because it seemed as if that was the only right thing to do. And would you have it, as I placed the beacon in the village, it would seem that it was symboling the light returning back into this world. So I decided to place the beacon somewhere that all of the village inhabitants could see it, and with that, it seemed that luckily, light managed to return to this world once and for all. Now, I was truly scared, but I really didn't know how this thing was going to end.